She broke, she bent, but she never disappeared. She's healing out loud, even when it feels unclear.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to Her Way Through the Glow Up Diaries, where healing gets honest, growth gets messy, and every story starts with I'm healing. Today's episode is titled Why I Had to Grieve the Childhood I Deserve. Vicky is back, and if you caught part one, then you already know she came with truth, grace, and a whole bunch of wisdom. Today we're diving even deeper. So let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
Jumping right into the next topic, we're going to talk about how sometimes you have to grieve a childhood that you feel like you should have gotten. I feel like people don't work on their inner child enough. How you grew up, how you was raised, everything that you went through affects your adult life. So if we
hmm
jump into the first question would be, when did you first realize that you needed to grieve your childhood?
When I became an adult and when life started lifing,
Period. That's life.
cause right, and when you become an adult, like you start to do stuff like go to school or
Mm-hmm.
buy a house, like stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, like typical things that adult people do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those things, believe it or not, they come from the help of parents. Like parents
Mm-hmm.
kind of set you up for that. So when I'm an adult and I'm thinking like, wow, I want that, I want this for myself, but I'm also
Mm-hmm.
thinking like, like where's the support? Like, or
Yeah.
not where's the support because I do get support, but I'm just saying like the ideal
Mm-hmm.
family helping their child out with getting and obtaining these things in life. So I think that's when it was because when I realized that I didn't get the one that I deserved, and when I started to realize what I felt like it should have looked like a two-parent household. It should have looked like,
Period.
yeah, it should have looked like that. And I feel like if I had that, I would be able to obtain and have the support of obtaining those things quicker. So that's when it happened for me.
I love that. And that makes
Yeah.
total sense. That what emotions came up when you realized that you didn't get that childhood that you feel like you should have gotten?
I was sad.
Yeah.
You're sad and then you're resentful. Like you kind of get
Yeah.
resentful. Very.
Resentful was not a word that I thought you would say, but that is very true. It's not a bad thing, but the fact
hmm
that you acknowledge that is the emotion that came up when you thought about that, that's deep.
hmm Yeah.
So, did you ever feel ungrateful, needing more than what you got growing up?
No, because no way, hell no, because I deserve that. Every kid deserves that. Like every
Period.
kid deserves to have both parents. Like they did not ask to be here. Like that's
And
what I really
didn't.
want because I just seen it on the shade room. And I don't even like really get into the shade room, but this story was big. It was popping up on my story. It was about little baby's baby mom, Aisha. She basically had a baby with a basketball player, and the basketball player don't want nothing to do with it. Didn't want the baby, nothing. And he was gonna pay her all this money for her to abort it. She said, "No, I'm gonna still keep it." So he said, "Well, I'm not gonna be in the child's life." And he even said, like, he even got the judge. Like they went to court and said, "How much do I gotta pay up front? Up front, like child support up front." So he's gonna pay 1 million up front in child support and be done with it. Like that's so messed up to me. Like I don't think that the kid deserves that. Like I
The
think the
kid
kid
don't.
deserves to have, yeah, she deserves to have two parents. Like so no, I don't feel guilty or ungrateful for anything. I don't. I feel like I deserve that.
Period.
For
You
real.
did. And it's so funny that you brought up that topic because I literally was just talking about this, not this topic per se, but it related to the topic that you brought up with. So I just want to touch on it before we jump into the next question. Far as that situation, him saying that he don't want the baby, like, and her deciding that she still want to go through with it. How do you feel about that? Like, because I know us being female, as far as looking at abortion and stuff, everybody have their different views and opinions about what abortion is. And granted, whatever that is to you, stay in it. This is not a judge zone. So, but for this situation, do you feel like she should have just got that abortion?
Um, because I don't even want to speak on the abortion part because, like, pro-choice, like, she can do, it's her body. But, like,
Exactly.
my whole thing is, if a man is telling you, you got to think about your child, you can't be
Period.
selfish.
That
You
part.
can't be selfish. I just want to say, if it was me, I would not have brought a child into the world where their father is blatantly and publicly telling me that they don't want
That
anything to do
part.
with the child who was innocent. I wouldn't have done it.
And I
I wouldn't
totally
have done
agree
it.
with you because I'm definitely pro-choice. I want to say I don't believe in abortion because it's not that I don't believe in it. I feel like anybody can do whatever they want to do. It's your body, whatever you
Hmm.
feel like is right for you. But when it comes
Hmm.
to a situation like this, far as like you said, like the dad is literally telling you, like, girl, I don't want that baby.
Hmm.
And to think that it's just like, okay, I'm still gonna have it. I feel like in a sense, you're basically setting yourself up to be a single mother. Nobody goes into having a baby like, yeah, I want to be a single mom. I mean, I guess some people do, but realistically, that doesn't make sense to me. Because first of all,
Hmm.
being a single mom is hard. Okay, it comes with so much. Financially is hard. Emotionally is hard. So it makes sense for me to think that a female will literally be like, "Yeah, that's just what it is," and I'm going into it like that. Like, no.
Right.
And like you said, it's about being selfish, and that's just
Yep.
thinking purely about you. I believe kids deserve that two-parent household. It makes no sense to bring a child into a broken home. Now it's
Yeah.
different when you have no choice and that's your only choice. Like if you feel like you did everything to make this relationship work, you did it all. Like you went through the gutter with this person and this person just still continues to hurt you. By all means, do what's best for your mental sanity. Don't sign yourself up for trauma. So, what were there parts of your childhood you minimized that you later realized was painful for you, or like try to downplay it, like, oh, it wasn't that deep. But then as you became an adult, you realized no, it really was that deep.
Yeah. When you at the age where your parents have to actually like pick you up, from the
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, yeah,
I used to be at school and my grandmom is the one coming to pick me up. Not my mom, not my dad, but my
yeah,
grandmom, and everybody
yeah.
else's moms is, getting them. And it's not even that I minimized it, but I just never really like
You
it
didn't feel
was a
like it was that
thing.
deep.
Right, right. Yeah, it was a thing. Like it was like I always was aware that it wasn't ideal, but
Hmm.
I minimized it. Yeah, like I didn't make it a big deal.
It wasn't that
Yeah.
big of a deal until you got older
But it
and you
did hurt.
realized, but it hurt.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that makes sense. So, what helped you see that reflecting on your past is not more so about blaming that person or more so about just healing from it?
Yeah. Therapy helps you see that, and
Yes.
placing blame is not going to get you anywhere. Like it's not like you're just going to be mad, and being mad, it takes a lot of energy to be mad.
That
And
was a powerful statement. Hold up, wait, before you even continue, because I don't think people understand that. Like being mad and just angry is so much energy. When you could literally just like, you know what, just release that anger and you'll feel so much better. So don't let that statement that she just said go over your head, guys, because yes, being mad takes a lot of energy. It truly
mhm.
does. And release that energy. Release it.
Yep, yep. Because like you're in the driver's seat of your life, you know what you went through, you know what happened. Just not make like learn from that and not make those mistakes. I'm at peace with knowing that I'm not going to make those mistakes.
Period. Period. Because what when you know better, you do better.
You do better. Oh my god, yo! I'm looking at that quote right here on my white. Like I literally had that written down on my whiteboard right next to me. You know better, you do better. Like I
Because that
live
is
by that.
so true. More people need to live by that because knowledge is power. As far as when it comes to parenting, you know how everybody always say, "Oh, you don't get no handbook on what to do with this kid or how to raise this kid." But while you may not get a handbook on how to do that, what you did get is you know what not to do. Okay, like you know
Right.
what didn't work for you, or you know what you didn't like growing up, and you know not to do that in your
Mm-hmm.
family. So yes,
Yep.
when you know better, you do better. People need to live by that quote.
Like break the cycle.
For
Like,
sure. Yes, yes, amen to that. Breaking cycles, whether it's generational or whatever. People need to understand if it doesn't work, stop trying to make it work. Like if
mm-hmm.
it doesn't work, don't make it work. Like for instance, hitting kids, let's just put it out on the table that hitting, whether that's your way of parenting, it doesn't work. I know people gonna probably shoot me in the comments like, oh well, I do what I want, it's my kid. And you're right, it is your kid, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't work.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And I just hate it. The idea of like beating and spanking and stuff like that. I don't like that. That reminds me of child enslavement. Like that gives like power, like slave
Vicky
master
went
and
back
slave like
to slave, baby. She said you hitting them kids, you making that kid your slave. Y'all heard what
yeah.
she said because she mean that, and I'm with her with it because it doesn't work and it's not teaching the kid anything.
Lazy. I lucky think they were being lazy when they thought of that concept. I think if they were being very lazy, like sit in and talk to your kids, talk
Period.
to them. That's what I gotta do with my son. Like I gotta get down on his level, speak gently. You gotta make your eye like don't squint your eyes up because that'll scare him and he'll start crying even more. Like you gotta get down on their level and just talk to them.
Yes,
Because they're humans too. Like they can't
they
even
are
regulate their emotions and their feelings. I just feel like hitting it was a form of self gratification for them or
for
something. It made them feel like
sure,
yeah,
for
it was a
sure.
stress
And
reliever.
it was, and honestly, at the age like both of our kids at, they weigh heavily on emotions and energy. So while they may can't express, because they're still kids, so they're going to express, they're going to have tantrums. That's what kids do. But
Hmm.
it's about the parent and how you choose to handle that tantrum. I don't understand how if your kid is having a tantrum, you think the first step is to hit them. What is that? That's not teaching them why having a tantrum is not okay. That's not teaching them that what they did is not okay. It's not teaching them anything other than they just got hit.
Right. And then they're gonna go to school hitting other kids, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, your kid hit my kid." Well, they learned it from their mom hitting them for no reason.
Hello. There it is. Exactly that. Don't be trying to shoot us up in the comments because we said what we said, because we said what we said. If you feeling some type of way about it, that mean that shoe is fitting and maybe you need
Hmm.
to change some stuff up. So
Yeah.
with that being said, how do you stay compassionate with yourself when those old wounds of the childhood that you feel like you're supposed to have resurface?
I remember that it's okay to feel and it's human. It's human to
It
have
is.
feelings, and I just remember that you don't always have to be strong. Like you don't always have
You
to be
don't.
closed off. Like you can feel like it's okay to cry. I will be watching like what was oh my god, it was the Rugrats. It was Rugrats, and Chucky. Have you ever watched Rugrats?
Poor, yeah.
Yeah, so Chucky, basically his mom passed away, and it was the Rugrats movie where they were in Paris, and at the end of it, all the kids they were dancing with their moms and stuff. And
Hmm.
like I said, like Chucky's mom died, so he didn't have no mom to dance with.
Hmm.
And I started crying, like I was bawling. Like my son was sitting in his bed, and I was just sitting there like bawling. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sad. Like, cause I felt the same way, and it's okay for me to have that moment where I can
Period.
resonate, I can relate. Like,
It is,
it
and
was normal.
that's a perfect way to put it because it's definitely normal. The strongest people are the ones who can be vulnerable because people
Hmm.
don't take the time to realize that being vulnerable is actually not weak at all. It's actually very strong. You know how strong you have to be able to be vulnerable in situations that you feel like you don't want to or you don't want to show somebody. That's strong.
Hmm.
That's strength
Yeah.
right there all day long. And if people look at being vulnerable and crying and showing emotion as strength instead of weakness, baby, where they will go, it's not about being weak. I think that a
Mhm.
lot of females need to get out of that, and a lot of males too. Males feel like they got to be so strong all the time, and that when you show
Mhm.
emotions, you're weak, and you're not.
And make sure you tell them it's okay for them to cry,
It
because
sure is.
that's one thing I do not play with. I better not ever hear anybody say, if you cry, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. I better not ever hear those words come out of nobody's mouth in regards to my son, because it is okay for him to cry. It is okay for boys to
To
cry.
cry,
I hate
yes,
that. I hate that. Like, oh, you a boy, you
yes,
better man up, you better toughen up. That's
yes.
not cool. That is not
It's
cool for
not.
you're
It's
dismissing their
not.
feelings. That's
Exactly. That
basically what you're
part right
doing.
there. That's exactly what you're doing. You're dismissing his feelings, and you're also teaching that little boy to grow up to be a man who don't know how to express himself, who don't
Hmm.
know how to be vulnerable. And who wants a man like that, ladies? Let's be real. Nobody wants a man that can't express himself. Nobody wants a man that can't be vulnerable. So if you
Hmm.
don't want men like that, it starts with us women, us with these males, and growing up these little males, you teach them that it's okay to cry. Just because they're a
Hmm.
boy, that don't mean. I teach my son that all the time, and I hate when I hear people say, "Oh, you're a boy. You boys don't cry," because boys do cry because boys have emotions just like girls do.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's no
Yep.
different. It's all human. We all have emotions and we all feel things. So I don't know
Yep.
why the narrative of boys don't cry or boys got to be tough all the time, where that came from. But let's did that too, okay? Because that most likely
Yeah.
was brought up back in the day, and let's leave that where that's supposed to be. Stop trying to
It's
make that
toxic
be a
man.
thing.
Toxic masculinity. That's toxic masculinity. Like, for real. Like, don't ever tell no boy he can't cry.
That makes no
Mm-mm.
sense. And fellas, if you are listening, let me be the ones to tell you, females love when a man know they could be emotional. Females love it because you don't see it enough. You don't see a man being that. You always see men being, oh no, it don't matter. That didn't affect me. But when you get a man who could be like, you know what, honestly, that hurt my feelings. You respect them so much more.
Right. You're right. Yeah, you do.
Because it's like, wow, that was really
Hmm.
man of you to say. And honestly, it make us look at you and they're like, damn, that's a man. That's a man,
Hmm.
man. Like, you understand? Like,
Yep.
he's a man, okay? It's going into the next question. What everyday things helped you feel okay while you were going through like this learning process of realizing that your childhood wasn't what you wanted it to be or what you feel like it was supposed to be? So what do you do to make sure that you stay okay with the fact that you knowing that it wasn't what you wanted it to be?
Everyday things. I think just being appreciative that I'm able to, like, cause I'm a student. I'm in school right now, but I'm also like a stay-at-home mom. So
Mm-hmm.
just being thankful that I get to do these things with my son. Like,
Period.
even though I had what I wanted out of my childhood, I'm able to get it to my son. Like,
Period.
I'm the one that seen my son take his first steps, not the daycare worker, not
Period.
that. I did. I'm the one who heard him say his first word. Like, I was there, just being present. That's the everyday thing, being present.
Yes. I feel like it's a beautiful thing when you realize, because I'm glad you said that. But just you saying that alone made me look at something so differently. And now that's what I hope this podcast does for everybody listening. Whether we said one thing that resonated with you or just helped you change your perspective, then I feel like that I did my mission when it comes to creating this podcast. Because her just
Hmm.
saying what she just said just helped me to look at things completely different than I, and sometimes that's all it takes, just hearing some one thing being said, like, damn, you know what? You're right. And I didn't look at it like that. Because I'm a student as well as Vicky, and I'm also a mom that stays at home with my kid full time. And before she even said what she just said, I never looked at it like, oh, you know what? I'm grateful for that, and I should be, because my kid could have. It
Hmm.
could have been to the point where my kid had to go to daycare because I had no other choice. Like, I got to go to
Right.
work. I got to make this money, and he has to be watched, and everybody else got to go to work and make this money. So what else am I going to do? And so I honestly need to take the time to just be grateful that I am able to still work and provide money for my kid, but also still be here
Hmm.
and
Yep.
present and see the things that I probably would have missed if I had to go out every day to my job and him being in the
Hmm.
daycare or being watched by somebody else. So those are definitely things to be grateful for. So thank you for saying that because I never looked at it like that. If I'm being
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because me, one of my biggest things that I'm grateful for is because to go to school because my grandma she used to work 3 p.m. to 12 a.m. shift. So we would go to school. You in school from like 8 to 3, and then we would go to a family member's house from 3 to 12. So I was never home. I legit was never home. Most times away from home. I was only home for probably like 6 hours
Oh
every day.
wow.
Yeah. So the fact that my kid doesn't have to go through that's one of my biggest things that I'm grateful for because
And the
as a,
stability too though.
it is, yep, the stability. Yep.
And kids need that.
They do. They need it more than you think. More than you think. And especially because I feel like nobody pays attention because when you're like a kid who's like looked at as like, oh, you're okay, you're fine,
Yeah.
you're normal. Like me, I didn't act out. Like I wasn't a rebellious teenager kid, none of that.
Right.
I was well behaved. So
Mhm.
nobody paid attention to that to think like, oh shoot, like she goes to school and then she don't even get to go home. Nobody probably thinks that really affected me, but it's like no, it actually did. I just didn't feel safe to say it.
Yes.
Every kid wants to go after school. They want to go in their refrigerator and get snacks and sit down at their table and watch their favorite Hannah Montana show, and go
Mhm.
to their room and take a nap. I couldn't do that.
No,
I
for
could not do
real.
that.
My mom was the one who'd be like, believe it or not, kids crave stability and routine. They want that. I feel like as adults, we get so used to the notion of like just going with it. Like you just going with the motion. Like this is what it gotta be. This is what it is. And you don't stop to think about how whatever you're doing may affect your kid. Even if it may be this type of situation, it has to be that. But if you step back and think like, wait, hold up. I understand that this is what it is for right now, but how is this making my kid feel? If enough parents stop or even not even parents, just caregivers or whatever your role is as far as taking care of somebody else. If you stop and think about that aspect of things, you will start to do things differently. Because I know when you're an adult, you just be going with the motions. You're not thinking about it. And it's not per se because you don't care. It's just because, like Vicky said
Life is
before,
life.
exactly, life be life. But sometimes you do have to stop and think about how it may be affecting your kid because you don't want to have a conversation with your kid and your kid telling you like, yeah, that affected me. I mean, I don't think no parent wants to hear that. But if you are in that situation and your kid do come to you and tell you how they felt, I feel like the only thing you could do as a parent is listen. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
all defensive. Listen. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
that's
all.
literally it. Yeah, that's literally it. Like,
Did grieving your childhood change your relationship with your family?
I don't want to say it changed my relationship because it's the same,
Yeah,
but you kind of see people, you
for
see
who
them
they
as
are.
people. You see them as people, yeah. You see them as legit people. And you kind of analyze, okay, this person is this type of person. This person
Hmm.
is that type of person. Like, it
Hmm.
kind of gives you more of an understanding because when you're a kid, you're like, this is my grandma, this is my sister, this is my
Yeah.
papa. But no, as an adult, you like, okay, this is my grandma. Her name is Boone, and she's a person. She's this way. So
Yeah.
this is how I have to communicate with her. This is my dad. This is
Yes.
how I communicate with him. You know
Ye-
what I'm saying?
Yes, I think that was a great way to put it because yes, you can't handle everybody the same way. You just
Hmm.
can't because everybody is different. Everybody behaves differently. Everybody perceives things differently, and not everybody is on a different intellectual. Some people don't got it all there. Okay, like, and let's just
Yeah.
be real. And this is not judge nobody because y'all know this is the judge free zone. But this is just the reality of it. Everybody is not mentally capable of reaching a certain level. They just don't have the smarts. And it's not saying that they like, I'm not talking about the people that like literally you could tell they got a mental
Yeah.
problem or anything. I'm talking about the people where if you were to look at them, you wouldn't know that they have a learning problem or learning disability, but they have one. And
Hmm.
that has to be taken into account of how you handle that person and how you deal with that person and how you say things to that person because they're going to look at things differently. And you
Right.
can't think that you could handle a person that, is not mentally anything and then you can handle them the same way with somebody that is mentally.
Right, right, yeah. And to expand on that more, it's okay. So when you're a kid, you go on family vacation. You're like, oh,
Hmm.
we're all gonna be around each other, and we're all gonna have so it's gonna be so much fun.
Hmm.
As a kid, that's what you're thinking. Like family vacation, oh my god, it's so fun. When
Hmm.
you're an adult, oh, okay, yeah, we're going on family vacation, but I'm gonna make sure I get my own hotel room,
Okay.
and we're gonna do this like because this person snores, this person likes to drink. See things in reality, like
You
it's
do.
reality.
That's a great way to put it because, yes, you do. Going from a teenager to adult, it's an important phase in your life for real, because being a teenager is like, being a teenager is hard. Like, okay,
Yeah, it's
you go through
major character
so
development.
much. Yes, you go through
Hmm.
so much. You meet so many different people. You realize so many different personalities and everything, all in a matter. And then if you think about it, your teenage years is your shortest years of life. You're not really
Hmm.
a teenage that long. Once you
You're
become an
not.
adult, you're an adult for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
For a teenager, you're a teenager, okay, and then you get to an adult, and then once you're an adult, the teenage years is over. Talk about how going from a teenager to an adult is also a touchy and important phase in your life because you also start to become aware of so much more than that you
You
never even
do.
realized. Even far as
You
in your
do.
family dynamic, like you be feeling like, oh, I've been around these people for years. I know what it is until you become an adult and you be like, well, damn, I really didn't know that much.
No, for real. Like when you start to learn the lore, the family lore, when it's because like it's really true when they say like, oh, like when you ask like, oh, well, why is like what happened to this or why is this way? Like what happened? And they're like, oh, you won't understand. You really won't
Yes.
understand. Like you don't understand. Like for real, you
No,
don't.
for real, you don't. You truly don't. You say like when they say that to you as a kid, you don't be understanding.
Hmm.
But then when you get
Hmm.
an adult, it be like,
Oh.
oh, right. It definitely be the biggest realization for sure. So we're coming up on to the end of this episode. We got two more questions left. What do you say to the little girl inside you now?
I see you. I see you.
Period.
I hear you, and I'm here. Like I'm here for you, and you're protected now.
Yes, Vicky, those was powerful statements. Everybody listen now, give her amen. We all still have this inner child in all of us. We do.
Hmm.
And that may need to be worked on. So if you are like Vicky and you feel like you also did not get the childhood that you also deserve, take a step back and listen, think about these questions that I asked her and how she chose to answer, and think about how it pertains to your life and what does that mean for
Hmm.
you. Because then once you do that, you're on your next step to healing. Because maybe you do need to heal from it, and maybe it's time to do it instead of keep like, oh, well, I was a kid, that happened then. But no, it still
Mm-mm.
matters.
Yeah,
It
you
still
have to
matters.
acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge and admit that it is what it is, and you can't change it. But in order to move on from it, you gotta. It has to be addressed. You have
It
to address
definitely has.
it.
You have to address it, and those are the biggest things she could have said. You cannot think that you can heal from something and not address it. And I know that sometimes walking down certain lanes in your life may be scary, and it may be like I don't want to visit that because it may be painful, and you don't want to feel that pain. But if we're being honest with ourselves, that's the only way you're going to heal.
Hmm.
Acknowledge the feelings that you're going through. Acknowledge how it hurt you. And then once you do that, then you're on your step to healing from it. So, getting into our last question. How does your current self give her what she needed back then?
Self advocation. I advocate for myself. This is my life. I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. This is my
Period.
life. I want to advocate for myself. Whatever I want, I'm going to get it. Whatever I don't want, I'm not going to have it. You're not going to do it. It's not happening. Like, advocate for yourself. Because if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything.
That is so
And then you're going
true.
to be mad.
That
So,
is so true. It's
advocate for
about having
yourself.
integrity and standing
Yeah.
for something. You have to stand for something. Like she said, this is her life and this is all y'all lives as well. Who knows what you want out your life more than you? Okay, so
Right.
don't let nobody tell you what your life should be or where you should go or how you should feel because nobody knows how you feel or what you go through better than you.
Do not look at the next person and what they have and what they're doing and compare it to yourself because your story is not their story.
More people need to
Yeah.
worry about themselves. You got to realize those people may have different outcomes, different predicaments and everything that you didn't have.
Hmm.
So how you going to compare yourself to something that can't really be compared?
Yeah.
Your truth, okay? Whatever that
Yes,
may
that's what
be,
this is
live in your
called.
truth.
Her truth. Yes.
Yes. Because like Vicky said, this
Hmm.
is ended with her affirmation. It's always light at the end of the tunnel. Going through a hard time, like me, because I am currently going through stuff, okay? And it's tough, but understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not going to always be this tough. It's not, I know I will get through it. And if I can get through it, you're going to get through it as well. So that concludes the end of this episode. Thank you, Vicky, so
You're
much
welcome.
for taking the time out your day to share your story and share your heart. And you didn't hold back, and I appreciate you so much. Hopefully, this won't be your last time on the podcast. 'Cause it's a lot of topics I know that we can talk about.
No, no, it won't be the last. And I'm sure next time I'll be able to sleep because I could not sleep when she asked me to do this. I was like, yes. But when I tell you, I could not sleep last night.
Definitely,
It was
she's
so
like, why am I so nervous? I'm like, I don't know. Like, she did great. What do y'all think? She did an excellent job and she dropped some gems. Maybe take some lessons out of her book because I know I am. She said some things that you know what? I could apply that to my life. I could look at
oh,
it that way. Then this was her way through. So, yes, thank you so much for taking the time out your day to do this for me. I truly, 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 truly appreciate
no, you're welcome. So
it.
happy you have this platform for real.
Vicky, thank you for coming back and being so open. You poured into this diary and reminded so many of us that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means honoring. And I love you for that. If this episode spoke to something you haven't had the words for, this is your sign. Journal about it. Tag someone who gets it. Your inner child deserves the mic too. No matter what page of healing you're on, you're not alone and you're not behind. Keep going through it, keep growing through it, keep glowing through it. And I'll see you next episode.
Healing ain't perfect, but baby, it's true. She's hurting, she's learning, she's glowing right through. This is her way.